Thank you. Thank you. Ah, sure. Sure. Save it for the end. Nice. Tell them to shut up. Thank you. Well, it's good to see a little respect for me, but also for history. Because a lot of people feel history is very boring, don't they? Why? Because it is boring. People say it's boring because people are boring and history is about people. Obviously, it's going to be boring. Why are people boring? Because we haven't changed since time began. That's why it's the same stories in the Old Testament and the New York Post. Scientifically, we've advanced a lot, but human nature is exactly the same. That's why nanotechnology can isolate a single strand of DNA and stop a global plague, but we still need guards at the zoo so nobody tries to jump over the fence and kick the polar bear in the balls just to be a YouTube sensation. We can show images like that with the Hubble telescope, but we still need signs on restaurant bathrooms that say employees must wash hands. Nobody tries to make a sandwich right after they wipe their ass. But the question is, why are we like this? War, genocide, annihilation. With all the progress, where's the progress? Charles Darwin talks about survival of the fittest. We're the survivors. All right, we're not the fittest, but it's something else about us, and this is no offense. We're the descendants of the pricks. Our ancestors are not the people who starved to death waiting their turn. That's why we're all still here. We're not the after yous, we're the after me's. We don't like to share. Even a hospital, the one place we would share, we all have people we love that are sick, suffering, dying. No. I go to the hospital to visit my aunt who's dying in the hospital, go in the room, another family in there with somebody they love, sick and suffering. I say hello to them, pass the little white curtain to my family. First words out of my family's mouth, don't talk to those people, they're assholes. You shouldn't have said hello to those people. Why not? We think they took one of our chairs. We had 4 chairs, and they had 2. Now they have 3, and we only have 3, and the nurse is on their side. She's kind of a bitch, too. Then my aunt used one of her last breaths to say, move the TV, so they can if they want to be like that. So if you can't share a hospital room, how are you going to share the Middle East? You can't even share the elevator. You ever get in the elevator, you hit 12, somebody else gets on 1 second later, they hit 8. It's like, Jesus Christ. Assholes on this elevator. I let you in my elevator. You see I have important business transpiring on 12. You've got some bullshit happening on 8. I don't know what it is. You seem like a bullshit person. I can't believe the lack of consideration. There's enough for everybody. That's another lie being disproved there. There's enough for everybody. No, there's not. Mothers know this. Mothers understand this on a primal level because your mother goes to the supermarket, picks out the freshest vegetables, the ripest fruit for the family. If somebody ever asked her, what about the vegetables and fruit that don't look that good? She'd be like, I guess they're for some other family, huh? I'm here for my family. I think you get here earlier than me next time. That's how it works. The supermarket exposes the bloody battlefield that life is. We have to casually browse through the slain remains of the animals that weren't able to defend themselves as well as we were. That could easily be us up there, and chickens checking out our expiration dates. Then you go to the checkout, put down the divider sticks, marking your territory. Somebody reached over you like, you want to lose a hand? Get out of here. Every line is like that. Go to the ATM, that's a serious place. You have to get money for food, for survival. Somebody takes too long at the ATM, you start looking at the other people online, thousands of years of DNA starts kicking in. Like, is there a leader here, or is somebody going to do something? Or... a tribe starts to form. It's only a matter of time before someone's being flung around the ATM cubicle like a squirrel in a Rottweiler's mouth. So we're tens of thousands of years before the ancient Greeks. The world's almost empty, but apparently there's still not enough for everybody, because you have groups of cavemen walking into each other's villages, knocking shit over, trying to bang the women, trying to steal the food. So now you need leaders to defend yourself. How do you find leaders? Just like today. You don't find them, they find you. I still have friends that try to tell me they're in charge. I'll say it right to you. You need somebody like me to call you on your shit. Thank you. That's just what I felt was lacking in life, was a covertly hostile, marginal friend to supervise my behavior. Thanks. My friend winks hello when he sees me like that. We're grown men. He's like, what are you, the captain of the football team? I'm the freshman cheerleader. Oh, God, he noticed me. Like yourself. But back then, it's before language skills, but you knew who was going to run things because their posture told you where they were in evolution. These guys got their asses kicked by those guys, got the beat down by them guys, got knocked out by this guy because obviously he's in charge. He's standing there like that. Everybody else has the body language of a blogger. Now this guy's in charge. He's like, the food's going to go over here, all right? Weapons here. We're going to go to the bathroom over here. And I can't believe I still have to say this. If you're going to touch the food after you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, please. It's 20,000 BC. Do we have to put up a sign? Come on. Get it together. Everybody's on board, except there's always the one guy who's got the defiant stance like that. Like, I don't know. The leader's like, do you have a problem? You want to say something? Nah, man, you know everything, I guess. Do your thing, you know. They end up in a fight to the death. And you still have friends to this day you'd like to kill for their body language. Your friends that stretch when you're trying to tell them a story, you know. Because that always makes you feel important, you know. You're not enough. They have to multitask to make you worth their while. They're like, go ahead, man, I'm listening, go ahead. Like, well, then my sister tried to kill herself. That's fucked up. I'm glad you can incorporate it into your workout, because that'd be a double tragedy if she killed herself and you pulled a muscle running in the park. I don't know if I could live with the survivor's guilt in that combination. Some people just never evolve to where language matters. They act everything out. They grab you and they're talking about grabbing somebody, or they poke you. They always have a story where they reenact something on you. But people that are walking by don't know you're not the actual person. They always raise their voice at the wrong time. I told the guy, I said, you don't touch a 7-year-old boy, you pervert. Oh. People are walking by. What did he just say to that guy over there? I don't care if you're his uncle. You don't get in a bathtub. All right. We explained to these passerby, I'm an actor in your story playing the part of the child molester, and last week I was the jerk off at the dry cleaner. It's a repertory company, really, and you know. So it goes on like that through the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Old Testament, mindless brutality and instinct, until finally one guy coming home from another brutal battle stops at a lake to get a drink of water, looks down, sees his reflection in the lake. He's got a bloody beard. He's got animal skin, human gristle. He's got a necklace with eyeballs on it. He's like, wow, is this how I'm coming across to people? Because this is not who I am. I'm a good person. We decided we wanted to see ourselves for who we really were. And that was the first awakening, the ancient Greeks. Ancient Greeks, first ones to say an unexamined life is not worth living. They don't tell you what we found out. An examined life, not that fascinating either. When you've examined your life as we have, you realize you're not going to be Stephen Hawking, Ryan Seacrest, whatever their dream is. And we've over-examined our lives at this point. You ask anybody the innocent question, how are you? I'm 6 days off sugar, thank you for asking. I'm getting closure on my toxic relationship. I'm healing from my unresolved childhood issues. Great, welcome to Walmart was what I was going to say, but... And the Greeks' first great realization, you have to be able to blame your problems on some outside forces you have no control over. They came up with the myths, the gods. Hey, that wasn't me, I wasn't late. Kronos, the god of time, told me to make a left at the Acropolis. And that wasn't me, that was Aphrodite, the goddess of love. She told me to sleep with both Aesop brothers at the same time. I wasn't being a slut. And I think she lives vicariously through me. I think she's banging Zeus. I talked to the oracle. And we use our outside forces we have no control over, our ethnicity. That's not me, that's my Latin blood. That's my Jewish guilt. That's my Irish temper. Or people just say their ethnicity like that explains it all. I'm half Dominican, half Italian. What do you expect, right? Well, what do you expect, really? No. But the myths didn't cover it all, so the Greeks had to invent theater. And the average Greek child was watching 40 hours of plays a week. You know? And the parents didn't like it, but the kids are glued to it. What can you do, right? So... But with plays, you could gossip about your neighbors publicly without being called on it. So if Oedipus wanted to approach Sophocles after the play, Sophocles, interesting play there. Yeah, thank you, Oedipus. Yeah. Was that one guy supposed to be me or something? Not really. Oh, because I fucked my mother and I killed my father, so you can understand why I might... Yeah, but that was a compilation of a lot of people I've known. You'd be surprised how many people did some variation on it. Oedipus is like, oh. But at least they watched nobility, epic plays, kings and queens, Antigone on her knees, crying over the loss of her dead brother. No, we watched Snooki on her knees, crying over the loss of her cell phone. No, my freaking cell phone. I hate this house. My cell phone's gone. I swear to God, I hate it here. Oh, what am I? Oh, no, wait a minute. I found it. It was in my hand. Don't worry about it. I found it. Because back then, everybody wanted to be deep. Everybody wanted to be a philosopher, a poet, a playwright. Throughout history, there's been this unspoken competition, smart guys versus tough guys, for who's going to be popular with the girls, society in general. So smart guys did well, the Age of Reason, the Renaissance. Tough guys, the Machine Age, the Industrial Revolution. Even today, this guy works for Google, that guy's got a Harley, a neck tattoo of a handgun. Girls are still conflicted about which one makes a better life partner. Let's be honest, ladies, but you know. But back then, it was the smart guys, but like anybody else, they couldn't just be smart. They had to start showing people they were smart. Suddenly they come up with the poses. They're like this, you know. That one, people are like, oh, he's good, look, you know. They started to feel like they transcended human behavior and ego, but they were passive-aggressive and competitive, just like anybody else. When Socrates died, one of his last statements was, I know now that I know nothing. Kind of a dick move, right? Because you're the greatest philosopher, everybody knows that, you're dying, all these other philosophers still alive, you're like, oh, it's all bullshit anyway, you know. These guys have to do damage control just to make a living now, you know. People are coming up, is that it? Was it all bullshit? No, I know what he meant by that, we talked about it. You know, it's similar to something I once said, you're never in the same river twice, you know. I'll be talking about it tonight at the Parthenon, 2 shows, 4 drachmas, amphitheater style seating, of course. But the Greeks made the same mistake that we make. They continued to do the same thing even after it stopped working. You can't think your way out of everything, and we do the same thing. Example, our economic collapse. All the great economists get together every year, have these giant summits, conferences. None of them see this collapse coming. Why? Because they hold the economic summits in Davos, Switzerland. So that's Plato's cave. That's Plato's cave theory right there. Because Plato's cave theory is if you live in a cave, all you see is shadows, that's your reality. So if you hold economic summits in Davos, Switzerland, that's going to be your reality. The economists are out all day, they come back to the hotel. I was out, don't worry, the economy's fine. I was talking to people and walking around, everything runs on time, I don't know. Picked up the Swatch for a pretty good price. If they held the economic summits in Haiti, they would come back to the hotel, shut it down. I don't know what we're doing, but it's not working. So whatever we're doing, it's all... Your reality is based on your perception, your angle of what you see, of course. Like Aristotle, the other of the big 3 philosophers, brilliant guy, but he believed that slavery existed because some people are meant to be slaves. Of course he did, because he's successful. All successful people believe there's a rhyme and reason to the universe. Things happen the way they're supposed to, more or less. You know your successful friends, they lecture you. They point right in your face. Listen to me. You make your own luck in this world. That's when you hope a bullet ricochets off a wall and catches them right in their neck. Like, oh, lucky for me you were there. I was going to get shot, but your throat got in the way and saved me at the last minute. I still have friends that try to make me their slave, dictator friends. They give you little assignments when you go out. You think you're out as equals. No. They're like, hey, don't let me forget my jacket. Seriously, I'm leaving it right there. That's a new jacket, okay? Keep an eye on it. I got it. You go over there and drink and socialize. I'll watch your jacket, and should be a night to remember. I have friends that call me, wake me up. I just woke up too to put me to work. Hey man, how is it out? They steal your windows last night, or what happened there? How's traffic? Let me get in the chopper and I'll get back to you. When you're talking to somebody, a third person's name comes up. Hey, when you see him, say hello for me, will you? Really, in the age of texting, you still need me to act as a messenger and deliver your hellos on foot? Is that it? Now, give them my best. Is that your best? A message from me to them, that's your... So, the Greek Empire ultimately failed because you can examine yourself all you want. None of us ever see ourselves the way we really are or the way other people see you. What do? We let our mind take our worst qualities, twist it into a good quality. I realize my worst quality, I'm too nice. That's what it is. I realize my biggest flaw, I'm too honest. People can't handle it. I know what it is about. I freak people out because I'm too good looking. So people think I'm conceited, when really it's the opposite. I actually have low self-esteem from people thinking I'm conceited because of how good I look. I'm the opposite of the way I am. Don't you understand? I'm loud and obnoxious because I'm actually shy and insecure. So I try to overcompensate by being loud and obnoxious. So people, I'm violent because I'm afraid. So I cover up my fear with violence. I shove people to the ground because I'm trying to reach out for them. And I have a depth perception problem. Don't judge me by what I do. Judge me by what I tell you I'm thinking when I'm doing the other thing. I have a lot of problems. I'm too nice, I'm too honest, and I'm too good looking. So when I walk out the door in the morning, I've already got 3 strikes against me. So the search for the self didn't work, and while the Greeks were busy thinking, the Romans came in, conquered them, and said, what do you think about that? So now the smart guys have to lay back for a while. The tough guys are running things. And the Romans, tough guys, legitimate, builders, didn't do a lot of questioning, didn't like questions. Italians don't like questions. Some philosopher would walk up to a group of Romans. What is the nature of man? What are you, a cop? The first port city was Rome, right outside of Rome. So it's the first international port. All the countries that existed sailed in there to trade. So 50 different languages are being spoken. So these guys, longshoremen, had to come up with a universal language that everybody could understand and communicate with, which they did, by the way. The gestures that they still use today. After a few trips into port, people started to realize this meant, what are you breaking my balls for? I told you, you don't dock the boat here. I wasn't working last night. I didn't take no golden calf. Don't even look in my direction. Say, all right, I recognize you. I didn't know who you were. Now you can leave the boat. Now, here's your marble, all right? You know, I wish you'd come off that boat and say that to my face. I'd crack him over the head with a Doric column right now, this kid. They were the first skilled laborers, the Romans, by which I mean they got paid for labor. Before that, all labor was done by slaves. So these guys wanted to differentiate between themselves and slaves because they're proud union, local XVIII, whatever, man. So they watched the slaves, and they noticed when the boss told the slaves, everybody back to work, slaves jumped back to work, scared. So these guys, to differentiate, came up with the union pause. So when the boss told them, everybody back to work, yeah. What was I saying? Talk to Romulus and Remus and, I don't know, it's got to be like an arch or something like that. You figure it out, get back to me. All right, let me get back to work, like it was their idea. Let me get back to work. Let me go see what this prick wants over here. Because they realize the boss has to be a prick. You got to have constant criticism, culture, construction. You have to criticize everything, criticize what you're working on. This Tunisian marble is shit to begin with, by the way. I told them Carthage, but they don't listen to me. I've only been doing this 12 years. What do I know? And they criticize the guys that did it before you. These assholes put it in backwards. Let me show you right here. And then you criticize the boss. Yeah, Marcus. If his last name wasn't Aurelius, He's down here cleaning aqueducts with the rest of us, trust me. But it was a glorious time for Rome, you know? It was the beginning of the mob. They all had that... They had that Ray Liotta swagger, you know? You see, Caesar couldn't have been more than 28 or 29 at the time, but he was already a legend. He started out doing hits for the legions. You see, hits never bothered Caesar. But what Caesar liked to do, what Caesar really liked to do was steal. He was the kind of guy that rooted for the lions in the gladiator fights. And hundreds of guys depended upon Caesar, and he got a piece of everything they made. It was tribute, just like in the old country. And all they got from Caesar was protection against other guys that were trying to rip them off. And that's all the Roman Empire was. The police department for guys that couldn't go to the other empires. You see, Caesar had it down to a system. He'd have the tribunes invade a province. Then when the consul came to Caesar, Caesar'd make him a partner. Now the guy's got Caesar for a partner. Any problems, he can come to Caesar. Slaves revolt, come to Caesar. Vandals invade, you come to Caesar. Chariot drivers want to go on strike, you come to Caesar. But now the guy's got to pay Caesar every month, no matter what. Crops failed, fuck you, pay me. Plague of locusts, fuck you, pay me. God gets mad, kills the firstborn son in every family, fuck you, pay me. And then finally, when there was nothing left and they'd squeezed every last dime out, somebody lit a match and they burned Rome down for the insurance money. So now, for the next 800 years, until the Renaissance, the Holy Roman Empire, which is really just overcompensating for the Roman Empire's decadence. Because they saw what happened to the Roman Empire, the orgies, vomitoriums, the killing of Christ, the total destruction, reduced to rubble. So the Holy Roman Empire was like the children of alcoholics. They saw what that lifestyle did to the parents, so they rebel by wearing purity rings, listening to Christian rock. And the Holy Roman Empire is about priests, martyrs, morality plays, and jewelry. Jewelry, a big part of it, because it's all these big guys in red robes wearing the iced-out baller bracelets. You look at a picture of St. Peter's Basilica from the Middle Ages, it looks like a Death Row Records release party from 1997. They're like, yo, Monsignor, that medallion's fat, kid, where you get that, you know? We took that from the Mongol horde, that's how we do in Avignon, son, you know? They make it, we take it. And morality plays were very big, because remember something, these are very simple, primitive people, so they'd have a problem in society, they'd write a play about it, give the play a happy ending, and feel like that solved the problem in society. Of course, we do the same thing with our movies where the white teacher goes in the hood, and the kids learn from her, and she learns from them, and it gets the Academy Award every 5 years, everybody feels good. I'd like to be in one of those movies, I know them so well, I got my briefcase and my sweater, enthusiastic the first day, but all the other teachers are already jaded. They're like smoking in the teacher's lounge, you know. These kids are animals, you can't help them. That's not true, you know. You just gave up. Then I go into the classroom. At first, even the kids don't like me. The girls in the back like, I didn't learn nothing from this white teacher. You know? But then I start dropping knowledge so they understand learning can be like relevant to them and kind of hip. I'm like, you kids are always talking about gangsters, right? Well, let me tell you about somebody else who used to be a gangster you didn't know was a gangster. Albert Einstein was a gang, but you don't even know that because you don't pay attention, you know. My kid's like, no, for real, Albert Einstein was a gang? I never even knew that, you know. Yeah. Only he didn't have to use a gun like you cowards. He used a microscope to get through to people, you know. Like, yo, that don't really make sense, but, you know. You kids call each other pimps. You don't even know one of the greatest pimps of all time, James Monroe, when he pimped Europe out of half of America with the Monroe Doctrine, you know. Yo, that's fascinating, yo, that's fascinating. Now they're enthusiastic about learning, you know. So now we're finally, after study, we're ready to go to the white school for the big debate up against the white school. You know, but then my kids never been out of the hood, so they're kind of nervous and uncomfortable. They're in the white school, like straight thugging, robbing people, knocking lockers. I'm like, stop being so uncomfortable while we're here, please. You know? But then my worst thug has to give a speech at the end that combines what I've taught him with what he learned from his own life experience and makes everybody cry, and we win the debate. He's like, yo, I guess in many ways Copernicus Nobody believed him. That's like nobody believed me. They accused me of shoplifting. I ain't even do it that time, you know. I never liked snitches, but I realized this country got saved by a snitch. Paul Revere, when he said the British was coming, technically he was snitching, but, you know. We win the debate, then we go back to our school triumphant, but it's bittersweet, because I'm leaving at the end. I'm like, kids, we learned a lot from each other. We solved the racial problem, but I got, you know, I'm leaving at the end of the year, you know. Now the kids are like, no, we love you, Mr. Q, you can't leave, you know. I'm like, I know, I love you too, but I got a job at that white school. Now wait, hold on. That's not why we went over there. No, that's not why we went over there. That was a coincidence. I put applications in about 22 schools, and it just that one popped up. You kids don't know the way the school system works. And then, of course, you have the martyrs, the other Holy Roman Empire, the martyrs, Catholic martyrs. I admire them. They died for their faith. They got shot by arrows, pulled apart by horses, drowned, burned alive. I'm sure they loved it, too, to a certain extent. Well, because they're martyrs. Martyrs are martyrs, you know. That's what they live for. You know your martyr friends, every time you see them, something just happened. You do not want to know how I got down here today, all right? That's how these martyrs were. They'd come in. I came to Galatia because St. Paul called me. I said, Paul. I call him Paul. I said, Paul, what can I? He said, I said, all right, I'll come. I'm not supposed to travel. I got the slip disc. I'm working on 3 hours sleep. I still got the leprosy. And St. Damien was going to heal me. It's the only day he could see me. It doesn't matter. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm a vessel for Christ, that's all. I'm just a vessel. And priests, the other great invention of the Holy Roman Empire, the priest. And another great example of doing the same thing the same way, even after it stops working. I guess priests could fall into that category. To this day, despite the billions of dollars they paid out in lawsuits, there are hundreds of headlines, you're still supposed to go in the darkened booth and tell your deepest erotic thoughts to a guy that might have a poster of Justin Bieber up in the rectory. I mean, but now you know why the penance was so lenient all those years in the church. Because you think you're horrifying them with your sins. I eat meat on Friday, I touch myself, impure thoughts. These guys are sitting there like, that's it? Do you have any idea what's going on around here on a daily basis? 10 Hail Marys, 10 Our Fathers, get out of here, amateur night, you know? But it's easy to go after religion, of course. Anybody can do that. Religion's under attack, but religions don't help their case. They don't do themselves any favors because every religion preys into the negative stereotype of that particular religion. Catholicism, obviously, maybe we'd like to lose the kneeling for a couple of years until things calm down. I mean, come on. How about the kneeling waist high, mouth open? At some point, it's entrapment, for Christ's sake. Then you got Judaism. They pray scrutinizing a book. Like you could just see them thinking, there's got to be a loophole in here somewhere, you know? Then you got Islam. Islam prays like they know there's going to be an explosion. Duck! Fire in the hole, everybody now. Islam, around 600 AD over to the east, is where Islamic empire officially begins. But it unofficially begins long before that. Abraham has 2 sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Isaac he raises with his wife as his son. Son becomes Israel, the Jews. Ishmael he has with his mistress, banishes him to the desert. That son becomes the Arabs. And that's why you can never solve the Middle East, because it's not about land, it's father issues. Islam's still trying to pay his father back for kicking him out of the house, single-parent household raised, still angry. That's why never got presents when they were little. That's why gift giving is so important to the Arab culture. You compliment an Arab on anything, they try to give it to you. I like your car. You like the car, my friend? The car is yours. Take the car. That's silly. How will you get to work? You want my job, my friend? Take the car to the job. I call the boss, tell him to look for the car. How are you going to feed your family? Kids, get in the car. Go with the man to the job. Because family is everything to Arabs. Family. Except for strangers. Strangers who's just as important as family. Because they had to wander the desert. They had to depend on the kindness of strangers. So when they see a stranger, they're happy to see him, to pay back and be a good host. But Arabs, when they're happy to see you, it seems like they're angry. And when they start to get angry, they start to get friendlier and smiling. So a stranger shows up, they're happy. My friend, I love you to come to my house. You're my guest, you stay with me. You must be hungry. I'm going to give you some food. My cousin will give you some food. Cousin, give him some food. Cousin, why are you refusing? Why are you making me upset right now? You're acting like a piece of shit and humiliating me and yourself in front of our guest. I would like to bite your fucking eye into 11 pieces right this minute. Not you, sit down, sir, you're my friend. You are my guest, I like you. But he is a very bad person right here. I don't like this cousin of mine, unfortunate for him. And of course, the strictest religion, you can't show any image of Muhammad or you know what'll happen to you. But apparently the same reverence doesn't apply to the name Muhammad because anybody can be named Muhammad and that's fine. Everybody can be named Muhammad. This is my friend Muhammad, my neighbor Muhammad, his two sons, Muhammad. I always forget the younger one, forgive me. Yes, Muhammad, thank you. My brother Muhammad, but he spell it with a U. I get confused myself sometimes. My cousin Mohammed, say hello to Mr. Mohammed. Cousin Mohammed, why are you not saying hello? It's not rocket science. He has the same name as you even. I'd like to boil your fucking face right now, to be honest. And, of course, obsessed with Israel. Every Arab I know thinks about Israel a lot. It's like the guy that broke up with his ex, but he still thinks about her all the time. You see him, how you doing, man? Good, fuck her. Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting you guys went out for a long time, huh? But you're doing good now, you got the oil, right? I mean, yeah, I know, it makes me laugh because she's so screwed up and she doesn't even know it. And it's like Israel is like, I mean, nobody knows what a bitch she is except for me. I see her the way she really is. I don't even think about it. You brought her up, that's the only reason we're talking about it, you know? So why did she mention me or something? It doesn't matter. It's like Israel doesn't even exist to me. I swear to God, that's how I feel now. I'm over it. And of course, Israel, the Jews haven't changed since the Old Testament. They're exactly the same as in every chapter of the Old Testament. They're like the Jews of today. They start complaining. Then they start arguing with their relatives. Then they debate God at some point because they always think they know the best way to do everything. Then they get turned into pillars of salt, which is a Jew's worst nightmare because of the sodium. And everywhere the Jews go, they got chased out immediately. That's why shalom means hello and goodbye. And peace, because that's their story. We're here, we're leaving, don't hit us. Why? Shalom, 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 shalom. And talk about Islamic, there's still things we can learn from the Islamic culture, like repression. We could use a little repression in this country. Right now, we're so sexually jaded. A nude woman for thousands of years was the epitome of sexuality. That doesn't turn any guy in here now, nudity. You have to have your own personal internet subcategory to be sexually turned on. And they have every category: drunk girls, stoned girls, hairy girls, shaved girls, barely legal, over 60, college girls, community college girls, girls that left school for a year to work, but they're thinking about going back. But they're And Islamic law. There's things in Islamic law that are great. They kill rapists, but they're just too intense. They take it too far. You kill rapists, that's great. Yes, we killed the rapist, you know. Then we killed the rape victim too. Yeah. That's where you might be losing some people, actually, I guess, on that part. But the Islamic Empire fell because they made the same mistake that we're making. They tried to spread everywhere. They thought everybody wanted to be them. They spread to Spain. That led to their downfall. They were never going to last in Spain. It was already a half a nude beach by that time. We do the same thing with democracy. We go, that's different. Everybody wants democracy. No, they don't. They wanted democracy in 1960, yes, when it was the Beach Boys, the Mickey Mouse Club, Jack Lemmon driving in the Ford convertible. Now democracy is Lil Wayne and Girls Gone Wild. Not everybody wants that in their culture. I hate to break the news to you. Lil Wayne, a millionaire musician, comes out of Rikers Island, threatened to shoot people just to keep his musical credibility among his peers. You didn't see that in 1960. Tony Bennett getting up in concert. Just in time, I found you just in time. Ladies and gentlemen, you know this next song is out to that snitch-ass bitch, Mel Torme. Yeah, when I was in lockdown, I was thinking about your bitch-ass, Mel, and you know what I said? I said to myself, let me catch this punk motherfucker slipping. I'll empty a clip in the back of his head. This is what I said, ladies and gentlemen. Him, the gang at Capitol Records, the whole Nelson Riddle Orchestra, all these motherfuckers, I swear to God. Our culture looks crazy. We're trying to spread democracy to Afghanistan. That's like the wild girl at the wild party trying to get her wallflower friend Afghanistan up to dance. It's like, get up, dance. I don't dance, you know. Do a shot. I don't drink. Show your tits. Show my tits. I just started showing my eyes 2 years ago. So no religion can get popular without a medium to spread the message. The first great medium, the Silk Road, a trading highway that runs from Baghdad all the way to China. Everything benefits from the Silk Road. Hinduism, Buddhism, the little pita bread sandwiches, the falafel, and the white tahini sauce. I like those. All became popular on the Silk Road. And a country that benefits the most is India, because it's sitting right in the middle of it, and it looks colorful. The rest of the world is in black and white. India's got purple dyes, makeup, earrings, thick, shiny hair. You'd walk across the border into India through beads like your stoner friend's apartment, you know? Is this India? Yeah, shut the door. Get in, man. And all these religious prophets are moving up and down trying to sell their religion to you, proselytizing, and people wanted something to think about because you're on a road on your camel for 800 miles. They give you something to think about. It's like talk radio when you're driving. Like, hey, you hear that guy Sid Arthur? That was interesting what he said about the ego, you know? He's on afternoons 3 to 6 on the Khyber Pass. I like him, you know? And salesmen, the first salesman, which became very significant, because they broke it open for the empires accidentally because they made people let their guard down to strangers. Before that, if you saw a stranger, you'd try to kill them or you'd run. But these guys came in, they were likable. They were complimenting you. No, you never heard anyone say anything nice to you. They'd come in, look at this family. I love this family, look at him. Look at the father, I love the father. Look at the son, he looks like Lord Vishnu, the brother, doesn't he? He's got the nose like Vishnu. Look at the sister, she's beautiful too, the whole family. Where's the mother? Get her out here, I want to sell. I said hello to the sister. Where's the mother? Where's the mother? That's not the mother, that's the sister. That's the mother? She's the mother? Get out of here. What are you people, crazy? What are you putting the water around here? You look young, you should be selling me, for Christ's sake. And people like them. They're like, I like these people, you know. So they had their guard down when the empire showed up. They thought they were more salesmen. They came in, hello, are you a salesman? Sort of, no goods or services, but taking everything you've got, congratulations, you're now a subsidiary of the Dutch East India Company. Hello. Because Holland came in and took over India. They took India public. India is the first publicly owned company. International, they sold stocks in Venice. I mean, it was the first one because they took over India with economic aggression because they were smart, Holland. They realized economic aggression would work because military aggression had failed because armies didn't scare India because of reincarnation. The Huns, Mongols would come in there threatening, we'll kill you. And it won't be the first time I have died, so do whatever you like, you know. If that is going to make you happy. Because yesterday and tomorrow is the same word in Hindi, kala. So they'd come in there, Genghis Khan, take over the country, call a meeting with the head of the place to try to scare him. We wouldn't even show up. They'd catch him the next day. Where were you yesterday? I came today to be early for tomorrow. What difference does it make? Yesterday is tomorrow, today is last week. Don't you understand? It is life's paradox. When you subjugate us, you're only subjugating yourself. To submit is to defy, you see, and to rebel is also to accept. So there is only the present moment, no tomorrow, no... I'm sorry I brought it up. Let's get out of here. These guys, too verbal. Let's go somewhere that people don't speak. Even today, reincarnate, they worship the cow. Everywhere else in the world, people kill the cow. Not just for food, but we hate the cow. Because the cow's the only non-phony out of all of us. Not just human beings, other animals, bees, beavers building dams, spiders weaving webs, birds chirping, singing. It's all just busy work, so nobody has to face the emptiness of existence. Cows do no work. They don't even smile, they just look like, you know, fuck this. It's all bullshit, that's what I think. We get mad, try to humiliate them, pretend to put a bell around their neck, like, yeah, this'll cheer you up. Oh, I get it. Now I got a stupid sound to go with my stupid look. All right, do whatever you want. Doesn't change what I just said. It's still all bullshit. I accept it, though. Do your thing. We love India in the West. We try to be like India. We love the language and the idea of it, but it's not our nature. We like acceptance, spirituality, but we're just more aggressive. We try to be like them. I come here to yoga class to get centered. I always put my mat right here. Who's the bitch that put her mat in? Somebody better move this fucking mat. Oh, it's from last class? I apologize. Namaste. Finally, one country conquers India militarily because they conquered everybody militarily, England. The British Empire, at its peak, controlled 1/4 of the world's population and landmass. This, by the way, is a little goddamn country. One of the smallest countries in history. How did they do it? It was not military might. They had something far more powerful. They had contempt. They tapped into people's insecurities and their low self-esteem. They would show up in your country, polished boots, beautifully pressed uniforms, shine swords, and just walk around. Really? And this is where you live? Oh. Other countries were like, the British are coming, clean up, the British are coming, the British are coming. Even the other armies come out to fight dirty, faces painted blue, matted hair, no shoes, screaming with clubs. Britain would take that moment of theatrical elegance before battle. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, and all our yesterdays have but lighted fools their way to dusty death. I'm sorry, is that what you're bringing into battle? They're like, no, man, put that head on a stick away. We look like assholes. I mean, they'd break for tea in the middle of battle. That's power right there. Arrows flying. They're like, oh, it's 4 o'clock. They just had a way of doing things, but they became too popular, like us. They overfranchised. Quality control suffers. Profits go down. They ended up with a bunch of weird, bad versions of England, like Canada. Or you just see remnants of the British Empire. You go to the middle of an African village, there's a fish and chip shop. Guy's got a bowler hat and umbrella. It hasn't rained since 1837, meanwhile, but... Or Trinidadians playing cricket, they don't even know why. They're like, I don't like this game, you know. Just keep playing, you know. But I admire the British Empire, because the people around them were jealous of them. They didn't give a shit. To the east, Holland never invaded them, just stared at them with those blue eyes for 200 years. That can be unnerving, you know. To the north, Scotland, Mary Queen of Scots is up there like a crazed Mrs. Doubtfire, chopping people's heads off, you know. Oh, yes, there is. To the west, Ireland, they made their feelings clear how they felt about Britain, I believe, writing 18 poems a week for 500 years about how much they hated them. Let me ask you this, what rhymes with get the fuck out of Ireland, you British bastard? But to the south was France. All these savage barbarian cultures, and there's France with a cigarette, her shag haircut, her coal eyeliner, just staring across the channel. Hello, English, hello. Everybody wanted to be with England. England wanted to be with France. France gave them that great double message. They do better than everybody, like the 2 kisses on the cheek. Mwah, mwah. Yes, no, calm, go. They drove the king mad. The king would just stare across the channel. Oh, France, she doth teach the torches to burn bright, hangs upon the cheek of night. The general or the war council come back trying to cheer the king up with all the other conquests. My lord, we've taken the Ottoman Empire. Parthia, Sardinia will fall. We've got the Barbary coast. And what news? France. No news, my lord. No news. They tried to impress France. Look at my navy, my castles, the crown jewels. France worked them, of course. It's all very nice. Obviously, there's an attraction here, you know, but... It's complicated for me right now, you know. There's other things I can... England even left the Catholic Church and started the Church of England to get divorced, probably for France. I've left her. We can be together now. Nobody asked you to do this, so don't put it on me. And of course, France lost their empire because of one sarcastic comment. Only France could lose an empire based on sarcasm, by the way. Just think of how much bloodshed could have been avoided if after "let them eat cake," Marie Antoinette could have typed LOL. Okay, so there you are. It's ridiculous. And England, desperately trying to heal from the breakup with France, they don't want to be alone, starts compulsively conquering, 6 wars, 3 inquisitions, palace intrigue. I will poison my cousin, sleep with my niece. I will sack, ravage, and pillage. They get obsessed with fashion because they feel that makes them closer to France because France is so fashionable. What have you brought me back from Middle Asia? Satin, silk, Tibetan wool. No, not that Germanic cloak. I look like a fucking housefrau when I tried that. The war council's worried about the king. What do you do when your friend has a bad breakup? Try to get him to get dressed up, go out, meet new people. That's what they did with England, with the king. My lord, let's get dressed up. Let's go out and put down that uprising in the colonies. Yes, but what to wear? I know, red coats. My lord, it's impractical. We'll be exposed. No, but it's a statement, don't you see? Red, we are your blood. Your blood runs through us, Mother England, and so forth. Do it. And they lost the colonies because, my lord, we've lost the colonies. Really? How? Well, for one thing, they definitely noticed our red coats, my lord. I told you they would. Also, my lord, they had allies. Whom? France. Which France? Not my France. England ended up drunk on the banks of the English Channel at 3 o'clock in the morning, yelling across, France, you betrayed me. I will destroy you. I will burn your crops. I just need to talk to you. Can you come out? France was getting out of bed with Italy. Che si dice? Who's that? It's only some boy who lives near me. I don't know what is problem, you know. English, why don't you take a hint? I'm not interested in you. You're drunk. Go to bed, English. But when you wake up, if you want, you may give me a call. And the country most irritated by all of this is Spain, because nothing's more annoying than sitting by yourself on a peninsula watching 2 other countries make out. Spain decides, screw this, we're gonna get in some boats, go down to South America, hit the clubs. They go down there, they go for the gold, stay for the drugs. South America was always all about the drugs, starting with the ancient Mayans. Mayans, pharmaceuticals, the rainforest. The Mayan priest was like the pharmacist. People would bring their kids. My kid, you know, my kid. Well, what's the matter with the kid? You know, he looks all right, but I don't know, he can't focus. I got him in the pottery circle. Next thing you know, he's chasing an iguana. Well, I got a new product. People seem to like it. I'll write you a prescription for the 3rd branch on that 2nd tree right over there. Side effects may include constipation, nausea, vomiting, suicidal thoughts. And the Mayans disappear. 900, the mystery of the Mayans, that's what they call it. What's the mystery? Drug culture, people disappear all the time. That's what happens. You're hanging out, then they're gone forever. You never see them again. You don't know if they died, they got locked up, they got clean, they moved, they're just gone, you know. Nobody says a word, and back then, nobody said a word, because all Spanish cultures are very fatalistic, because the language is fatalistic. Why and because is the same word in Spanish, por qué. Por qué, por qué. Why? Because. Because why? Now you understand, because why. Then, 1400, up in Mexico, you had the Aztecs, but that's a whole different vibe, because they're weed smokers, so they're just sitting there on the temple steps, kicking back, smoking weed. A bunch of Mexican dudes on the world's largest stoop, if you will, sitting there. Girls are walking by on the way to Central America, you know. Mommy, you're migrating. Where you going? You gotta migrate. You can't say goodbye. You're leaving. You can say goodbye. You ain't gonna say hello. I like that 2012 tattoo. Give me a smile, or my world's gonna end also, you know. And they end up like all pot smokers. You become irrelevant. You become a little obsolete. You lose track of time. When's the last time we accomplished something? We built this temple 300 years ago. I thought that was about 4 years ago. You serious right now? Then you had the Incas up in Peru, 1,200 coca leaves, cocaine, so they have a whole different vibe. They have art, architecture, astronomy, mathematics, but they also have beheading, cannibalism, human sacrifice, because that's cocaine, gives you the best ideas and the worst ideas simultaneously. And they ended up building a beautiful civilization based around the harbors, but they couldn't even enjoy it because they screwed up. Cokeheads don't spend any time outdoors. They were inside the temple doing coke the entire time. Instead of worrying about the danger coming from out here, you're worried about the danger of this guy doing more than his share of coke. That's all cokeheads talk about. I mean, that guy does a lot of coke with the Incas. We're not going to run out that easily, but come on, you know? I mean, I'm Montezuma. No me diga lo que puedo que hacer, but if you told me I'm doing too much, I don't need to smoke coke to have a good time, you know what I'm saying? What about the other half? Somebody gonna break out the other half? Finally, Montezuma goes out to get some air. Nobody's been outside for 8 months, meanwhile. Looks out in the harbor, Spanish Armada's out there. 50 ships, hundreds of these conquistadors in these weird acid trip helmets and uniform. He's got 30 priests holding up giant crosses staring at you silently. It's like the kid that gets high for the first time. He goes back to his house, all his relatives are there for some reason. Montezuma went back in. You've been outside lately? Por qué? Por qué? They got us surrounded. Flush that shit down the Amazon. We got to get out of here. Put out the torches. You got a little bit right there. Be careful. You know. Drugs kill them just like they're killing us. Same thing. Trying to be happy just like they were. They were trying to be happy. People say America's soft now because we're always trying to be happy. That's why everybody writes books about our founding fathers, saying our founding fathers be embarrassed by what we've become. They were real men. Meanwhile, our founding fathers are the ones that started this Dr. Phil shit. Because they put pursuit of happiness in the Declaration of Independence. No other government ever made it their job to cheer people up. Before that, we were fine. We're farming, eating, surviving. But then 1776, these bastards go, but are you happy? You know, now that you mention it, I don't know that I am 110% happy, and you brought it up. Now, what are you going to do to fix it? And now people fix it themselves, at least. You go up to anybody, what are you up to? 20 milligrams of Zoloft for my depression, 30 milligrams of Cialis because I can't get an erection because of the Zoloft, 18 milligrams of Concerta because I have to be able to focus to keep the erection when I'm on the Zoloft combined with 300 milligrams of Wellbutrin to offset the shaky leg syndrome I get from the Concerta, and 2 Ambien so I can fall asleep at night instead of thinking how I'm a depressed man with a constant erection and a shaky leg. Oh, well, thank you for shopping at Walmart. So ironically, while everybody in the Americas in the 1700s is pursuing happiness, the world starts to notice Russia, who's perfecting depression. Russians always in a bad mood. You ever try to cheer up a Russian? How you doing? What would you like me to say? Even back then, people come up to Ivan the Terrible. Ivan the Terrible, how are you? What's my name, shithead? But 2 and 2 together, no, you know. Peter the Great. Peter, you must be great. Your name? It's sarcastic, asshole. That's meant like that. That's why no army could ever defeat Russia. They'd go in there like any army, enthusiastic, ready to fight. But after a couple of hours, just turn to each other. I can't do this, you know? I feel overwhelming indifference and like an apathy. I just want to lie down. They'd all start lying down. We'd turn into the poppy seed from the Wizard of Oz, you know? The Russian army knew this. They'd leave copies of Tolstoy and Dostoevsky to further demoralize them. Okay, they're right. It is pointless. It really is. Let's just surrender. Yeah. But they have a good reason to be jaded, because the one time they tried to be idealistic, Russia, they failed. Marxism failed from day one, by the way. Marxism failed from day one because, first of all, Marxism, everybody's equal, nobody's superior. Karl Marx, Frederick Engels thought it up together. Engels even paid for it. Marx came back with the flyers. Engels, like, all right, rally for Marxism. Where's my name, Carl? I say Marxism, but it's everybody's equal, nobody's superior, but, you know, Marx was like, I had to make the call, I was at the printer. We tried Engelsism. Did that didn't make sense to you? Come on. You know how it is, comrade. Don't call me comrade, I'm not your comrade anymore, asshole. But it's sad. No system works. All these brilliant minds, never a system that works at all. Marxism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. Capitalism doesn't work. Even democracy doesn't work. People go, hey, democracy is the best form of government. How'd you like to live in the worst system ever? Fascism. You only have one choice for your leader. We live in the best system ever. Democracy, we have two choices. So we have one more choice than the worst system in the history of I mean, no, but the way we brag about it, you think it was 50 choices. And even two choices is not kind of an illusion because nobody votes for the other party. And who's more hated than Ralph Nader for trying to start a third party? We're like, hey, Ralph, it's democracy. Ever heard of it? Democrats, Republicans, Coke, Pepsi, McDonald's, Burger King. You know who's a troublemaker, Ralph? Wendy's. Now, the 1880s, European peasant class starts to get a little restless. European leaders see the spread of communism in Russia, decide that people are right, we should be more generous. Let's share with our people. What should we share with our people? Let's share Africa. Africa had been around since the dawn of man, but now Europe started to look at them differently, like your friend's little sister that grew up and got hot. They're going, have you seen Africa lately? I never looked at it like that before. She got a lot of natural resources over there. Africa, of course, easy to take over, constantly infighting with each other. It always looked like 6 Brooklyn high schools letting out at the same time. You know. They're like, yo, you want to do something? And they communicated by drumming, which doesn't help. That's confusion. Yo, you hear this shit? They're starting shit with us again, I told you. And Africa, when Europe came in, missionaries, explorers, Africa had precious metals, minerals, gemstones, and Africa violated street rule number 1. You never wear your shit on the outside when there's people around you don't know. Just like when the rappers and the athletes go to the club, whatever city they're in, they go out to the club, the local stick-up gang sends scouts in to see who's in there. They can try to rob them when they come out. That's what Europe did. The scouts came back and said a T.O. or Pac-Man Jones. Europe's like, who's in there? Angola's in there. He's got on tungsten. Sierra Leone's got on diamonds. The Congo's got on uranium, rubber. What about Somalia? No, he ain't got nothing. He tried to rob us. Keep away from that crazy bag. And tribalism killed Africa. It made them great, but they kept doing it when it stopped working. Just like us, dissent and debate made this country great, but now it doesn't work. We still keep doing it because we think that's what makes our country good. Now it's not even dissent and debate. It's all just bad-mouthing. Not just red state, blue state. Who, friends and family. Who do you badmouth more than the people you love the most? And when do you badmouth them more than on your way to like a celebration of love, like a wedding or something? Because you have to go see them. You're driving down to a wedding, badmouthing all the people you're going to see the whole way down there. Just so you don't accidentally do it in front of them and spend the whole time there gathering up new material for the ride home. Right? You ever do that? You're driving back, car load full of people, bad-mouthing the balls of all the people you just left. Then as you start dropping people off, now you start bad-mouthing them because now it's their turn anyway. They're barely out of the car. You're like, take it easy, good to see you. What the fuck was that all about? They're still waving at you in the rearview mirror. You're shitting all over him. He's even worse than last year. Then it's your turn to get out of the car. You're like, I'm not getting out of this car. I'll sleep over. And no one's saying you shouldn't badmouth people. Of course you should, but there's a time and a place. The time is 9 to 5. The place is work. There's nothing else to do there. But even there, you can't be the first person to badmouth. Because whoever you say it to will use it as leverage against you, even if they agree with you. You can't be like, hey, that new guy Joe's a piece of shit. They'll tell. You have to act concerned, like, what's up with that new guy Joe? Is he cool? Or... Your friend doesn't take the hint. I don't know, he seems like a nice guy to me. Me too, I just... Finally, they give it up. Well, he's a little pushy, if that's what you mean. It's close enough to what I mean. Come on in, shut the door. Let's talk about that. He is pushy. I was going to suggest we push him out the fucking window after work. Now people badmouth you on Facebook, online, behind your back, in front of your face. Behind your back, in front of your face, simultaneously, I'm talking about. By muttering. I'm helping my friend fix his car, so I screwed it up a little bit, you know. So I go, I'm sorry, did I screw that up? He's like, no, I screwed up by trusting fucking idiots, I swear to God. Are you talking about me? Not you, just everyone's an asshole, I know that, but... Really, but I'm part of everyone now, did you know? I got in the union finally, so... He's like, ignore me, man, I'm just thinking out loud, really. Yeah, but it's hard to ignore somebody thinking out loud, because the other term for thinking out loud is talking, so then... I'm listening out loud, hearing, they call that one. Yeah, tribalism killed Africa. To the north, yeah, the Arabs and Africans don't get along. Even today, not just the Sudan. Every time I go to the corner store, Arab behind the counter, African cabbie double parked, they fight, and they know each other too well. So they fight like a married couple. They go right for the historical jugular. The African's like, you pay me. Instant lottery, you pay instantly. This is why God put you in the desert. Nobody want to be around Arab people, I swear to God. No. And the Arab is like, everybody know Africa broke always because you never have money. That's why you better live in jungle 2 more years, motherfucker, I swear to God. Better fighting. And then East Africa, West Africa don't get along. I was talking to this West African, so I compared it to East Africa like it's the same thing. He went off. But you know, West Africans are French educated. So they speak in essay form. That's how they talk. They give you the title of what they're going to talk about, and then the supporting arguments underneath. He's like, East Africa is not like West Africa. Why? First, no infrastructure. Second, leaderless people, you know. So I try to bond on West Africa. I figure they all get along. They don't have tribal disputes. I go, I have a friend who's Nigerian. I know this one thing. If you have a friend who is Nigerian, you do not have a friend. Why? First, they're English, Colin. So, Africa, 55 countries infighting. They're polar opposite halfway around the world. China, always unified. One leader, one party, one haircut. Always poised to be the next great empire. Work was their only drug. They could figure out everything except how to stop working. Starting with the Great Wall, which I'm sure when it began was just gonna be a wall. Because the next longest wall in the world, I believe, is 14 feet. Because any other contractor anywhere in the world would turn around and he'd be like, that's 14 feet. That's a great wall. China, they work, they don't pretend to do anything else. They tell you, here's your job. That's the farm, that's your row. You go down the row, no vacation, no sick pay, don't even look around. You want to take an hour off to have a baby, that's fine. As long as you put the baby in the basket facing the row so they can learn how to do your job. So when you're ready to drop dead, they're ready to take over and start keep their row. Even over here, who works harder than Chinese immigrants? You go to a Chinese restaurant, you never hear anybody going, hey, waiter, where's my food? Where's my food? Your food's there. Anybody that complains about the service in a Chinese restaurant is just being a dick. American restaurants, it's not even about the service. We're a personality country. Don't care about the service. The waitress is just like, you know, another guest at the table. They come in, hi, my name is Chloe. I'll be a wait person. I hope you're having a good day. I'm trying to, but that's another story. We've got flat bottle tap sparkling spring water. There's some appetizers, but the chef's being kind of a dick tonight. He broke up with his girlfriend. I want you to think about your drink order. I'm going to come back in 20 minutes to take that because I'm in the middle of a story with that table over there, and they're kind of... They leave, you're not even upset there's nothing on the table. You're like, I like her. She's got a good personality. It's going to... Chinese waiters, they come over, they're not even smiling, just with a pen and pad, like... What you want? Because they don't care about me. It's like their leader, party, family. I'm a small part of a bigger thing. That's their philosophy. Our philosophy is similar: incident, lawsuit, settlement. I'm a small part of a bigger thing. So my piece could be a little bigger as far as I can see. Because they teach community, Buddhism, no ego. That's why you've never really met a conceited Chinese person in your life. Mao, true when he was putting up big posters of himself all over Tiananmen Square like he's David Beckham in an underwear ad, but you know. They have the yin, the yang, the two polar opposites for balance. That's why Chinese people have that personality sometimes, that polar opposite. They're the politest, rude people. They're the nicest, politest, won't say a word for 3 weeks. But get in some old lady's way when she's getting off the subway. She's like, old people, because old people feel good, because they respect old. They let old people live with them till they die. We put old people in retirement homes because we don't want to face our own mortality. We even have the early bird special for dinner. We'll give you $1 off your meal if we don't have to look at you while we eat. And if you're out of here by 6, we'll give you a fruit cup, so. Yeah, China did everything right. They always do. Their one weakness, like a lot of workaholics, they love to gamble. And they gambled with us on the big real estate credit defaults. A couple of years ago, they lost trillions. We owe them a couple of trillion. That's why every time we lecture them on human rights, you can see it in there. You know, when you owe somebody money, it's always in the air. No matter what you're talking about, that's in the air. That's how it is. We lecture them on human rights, and they're like, yeah, I could probably help some of those people I'm oppressing if I had that $3 trillion you owe me. I mean, it's only what's right, isn't it? Because they don't trust us, we don't trust them. They don't trust the way we work. They look at the way we work, the way we look at the way Europeans work. Because we look at Europeans like, you take the month of August off of vacation, you close your shops from 2 to 7 for lunch, we eat lunch at our desk. China looks at us like, lunch? Whoa, Mr. Lunch. And they all came here. America, the bouillabaisse base of the fallen empires. We took a little slice of the failure of each empire and put them all together in a primordial stew. We're a giant food court, different on the outside, but it's one big kitchen in the back. America, where everything's backwards and upside down, little kids are on leashes, and pit bulls roam the streets. Housewives dancing aerobics to gangster rap while gangsters are sitting on stoops and hairnets and house curlers. And we send all our jobs overseas while people come over here from overseas looking for jobs here. But people still risk their lives every day coming over here, climbing mountains, scaling walls, running roads to get a job at one of our gyms, picking up our towels, watching us climb fake mountains, scale fake walls, run fake roads. They probably think we're making fun of them, but we're not. We're just doing what we do, reenacting life as we live it. That's what we like to do. We reenact life. We come home from work, watch people work for entertainment. What a hard day at work. Let's watch this guy run a drill press for 20 minutes. What do you think? What did you do today? I did this, but I want to see him do it too, you know. What do you want to do for dinner? Let's watch people cook and see what they do. What do you want to do for fun? Watch people play poker. They were in Vegas having fun. Do you want to play cards with me? No, you weirdo. Don't look at me. I have to watch these truck drivers on an icy road. It's very important. You know? Yeah, the American empire. People always say, is the empire in trouble? We're not even in trouble. Never mind finished. I'll worry about the empire when I stop seeing magazines on newsstands, how to lose those 5 pounds. Most other places don't know what those 5 pounds is. Yeah? Their magazines, articles, how to find foods, how to climb out from under the rubble in 5 easy steps, and A pair of shoes, this guy has them. We're still doing pretty good. That's why we're worried about global warming. You think anybody else gives a shit about global warming? What, are you gonna go to the Sudan? Hey guys, we know you're just getting cars and air conditioning. Don't use them for a while. I'm serious right now. Okay, why not? Because we use so many. It's kind of a funny story, actually. Well, our empire's not finished. We have no solutions if it is. People say we have to compete with our kids. It's up to them. They have to compete with China and India in math and science. Stay competitive. First of all, the only kids over here that would have a chance to compete with China and India in math and science would be our Chinese and Indian kids to begin with. But even they can't, because they're too Americanized. Once you have money, you change. You know, people say we need more money for education. China and India have no money for education, and they kick our ass every year. Money has the opposite effect. Studying is something you do when there's nothing else to do. When you have money, you're partying, sexting. When are math and science going to compete with sexting? I'd like to see that day, because when I was growing up, all we had was spitballs, and half the kids failed because we were too distracted by them compared to math and science. And ironically, the only place that really still is beautiful, clean air, fresh, beautiful mountain ranges, clean water, rivers, lakes, is Canada. And nobody wants to live there. But it's not me saying it, just. Even when people sneak across the border through Canada into our country, Canada goes, we've got jobs here, social services, liberal immigration policy, health care. That's nice. I'm gonna take my chance in that giant fucking Ruby Tuesdays anyway, but... It's just something about it. It's like the living room with the plastic on the furniture, you know? Well, come on, sit down. I gotta get going, I don't know. But don't feel bad for Canada. Believe me, this is their strategy, is to be boring so nobody goes up so they can stay looking nice and nobody wrecks it. It's obviously, they're not trying to welcome people. Have you ever seen the flag? It's a leaf. They're not even trying. Even the national anthem is kind of trying to get you to dismiss them a little. It's like, oh, Canada. And you go up there, they all speak French. When did that start? I'll tell you when it stops the minute we leave. I guarantee it. But it's an interesting parallel because they're the same size we are, got here at the same time we did. But look at our country, it's all fucked up. You look at a satellite photo of our country from outer space right now, it looks like that old mugshot of Nick Nolte. It's kind of woozy, the hair's all messed up. You can tell it used to be really young and handsome, but it's still trying to party wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Hey, party's over, Nick. Yeah, somewhere in the last 15 years, we turned into the alcoholic drug addict brother of Canada. They're always sitting there like that, kind of looking, not really judging. Once in a while, they have a couple of Molsons, get a little crazy, put on some Sarah McLachlan. Woo, you know. Our country's the guy that gets drunk, accidentally spills his drink all over the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, shit, hold on a second. And then, you know, when you try to clean it up, you always make a bigger mess. I got it. You know. No, you're spreading it around. Oh, shut up. I'm not fucking... Yeah. But then I don't like when people use this and go, that's why everybody hates America, trying to be deep. First of all, nobody hates America any more than they hate anybody else. How's that? They hate the person next to them more than they could ever hate us. Everybody hates everybody in the world, from what I can see. But now, because of globalization, two countries get into it, everybody else thinks they have to jump in the fight. Right now, the world has the atmosphere of a bar at 3:30 in the morning. A couple of years ago, what happened? Somebody just sly-rapped us. We're in a bad mood. Somebody hit us. Somebody comes in the bar, the other country's telling us Iraq's in the parking lot. He says, he's got a gun. We're like, what? He's got a gun? We go outside. You got a gun? Let me search you. Get over here. He's like, I ain't gonna search me. I don't have a gun. We know there's gonna be a fight. We start looking for our friends. We look for France. She's our friend. She's not even in the bar. She's in the back smoking a cigarette, you know, talking shit about us. America, have you seen her lately? She got fat. It's hilarious, you know. We go, Germany, you like to fight. You haven't had a fight in 50 years. We're letting you back in the fight. Come on. I don't wish to be back in the fight. I have changed. The last fight, everyone ganged up on me, and I got the muzzle over less kickings. I'm not full of this. Well, like England, fight. England wants to fight. Yes, yes. Summon your sinews, conjure up your blood, cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war. Just curious, will France be joining us? Then Australia backs us up in every war. God bless those alcoholics, first of all. But, no, because they back us up in every policy we do, and they don't have to back anybody up in anything, because technically, are they part of the globe? No, of course not. I mean, there's 6 planets closer to us than Australia right now. You know, enough is enough. But they always show up for us, you know, they travel. 40 cartons of cigarettes nobody ever heard of, and 50 cases of beer nobody ever saw before, and they all got those cut-off 70s jeans that are too short. One of their balls is hanging out, but you think it's a pocket. You're like, is that a pocket, Australia? Come on. They're not even embarrassed. They're like, no worries, no worries, no worries. But they always show up for us. America, we need help here. Thank you, I was just gonna call. I didn't have his number. I mean, I don't know. We go outside. We're like, come on, Iraq, we're gonna search you. Iraq won't let us search him. The whole world's watching, like, fight, you know, half horrified, half excited, you know. Iraq dares us to hit him. We hit him, knock him out. Everybody turns on us. You don't have to hit him so hard. Look at him, he's fucked up, man. We're like, the guy's got a gun. Relax, let me just get the gun off him. It's probably in his jacket. Maybe it's in his pants, you know. These guys carry shit in their shoes. Remember the shoe ball? Did he hand it off to Syria? Somebody get Syria back here right now. I want to talk to Syria. And then the whole world is looking at us like, America, man, what did you do? What did you do? We go, fuck it. He was an asshole anyway. He should have kept his mouth shut. Now, Afghanistan, we had a little scuffle with them before. They're the one that probably sly-rapped us. They start going, America, I can't kick anyone's ass anymore. We're like, what'd you say? You want us to come back over there? Is that it? Russia goes, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, I still have a limb from that little fucking empire killer, rocket-terrain bastard that he is, you know what I mean? We try to call the bouncer. He's busy with Egypt, you know. The whole world is fighting. Africa's in the middle of a world war for 15 years. Nobody even goes near it right now. It's like the hip-hop club down the block. Even the cops are scared to go till emergency. They're waiting for emergency services to come, you know. North Korea's leaning on South Korea's car when they come out to leave, you know. South Korea's like, could you move? Yeah, go ahead, relax, you know. South America's in the back table. Yo, close it. All right, man, you know. Iran's like the weird guy at the bar. You think he's really drunk or really high, then you realize it's even scarier. He's totally sober. He's not even that big, but he just creeps everybody out. There's a weird vibe. You know you're gonna have to deal with him. The girls are going, that guy's creeping us out, you know. You think he's with the Arabs, but they're like, no, man, I knew the guy when he was Persia. He was okay, but this, I don't know this Iran, man. I don't know this fucking... Somebody calls the UN, they're trying to break it up, bottles flying, sirens, people screaming, and then Greece walks through the crowd. Can anybody give me a ride home? I'm broke. So we're a nice guy, we'll give Greece a ride home, then Portugal and Ireland try to jump in. Similar problem, actually. Do you mind if we get in the back, would you? Guys, I can't drive all over Europe, you know, you understand. But Greece, we're like, Greece, get in. Some fight back there, huh, Greece? Yes, it's a bad one. Greece, I gotta tell you something. Out of all the empires, to me, you were the first and the best. I based my whole democracy on you, Greece. You were ahead of your time. You thought of everything before everybody. Well, thank you, but you're the hot kid now, right? Yeah, it's been a good 200 plus whatever years. Although lately, well, don't forget what Aristotle said. We are what we repeatedly do. Maybe you want to make a few changes. Eat a little less. You could spend a little less. Yeah, Yeah, no. That's definitely not it, but I'll think about it out of respect for you, Grease. Thank you. This is you, huh? America, you've come a long way. Don't screw it up now. I won't, Grease. Thank you. That's good advice. It's great advice. Look who I'm talking to, the first and the best, Grease. You're a wise and ancient man. Thank you. Take care. I love you, Grease. What the fuck was that all about? I